Oh, I guess we are live, baby.
So I want to welcome everybody to another episode of Yerbabuena. This is 2.0. We have the amazing Richard Villa right here.
How's it going, Yerbabuena? We are here, guys. We are here.
You know, you're pretty well known throughout the comedy community, but for those of the viewers that don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've been doing comedy now for 18, 19 years, man. It's been an amazing ride. And now that we have this product, marijuana, I'm in my living room smoking.
Is that an old school Mercedes key?
Yeah, that's what this is. It's for the baller in the budget. Look at that. Boom, I got you.
My old ML320 key.
But these are great because you keep them in your pocket. You're traveling with them. And these are awesome. And as a comic, you're always traveling. You just go, man, I could really go for a hit. Just open it up. And I shared with you guys. There you go. I hope you can smell a vision. But this is amazing. I love living in this era. You know what I mean? Everybody says, oh, I wish I could live in the 50s. No, the world that we're living in now where weed is legal. I'm sorry, the UK doesn't have that. But us here in America. But yeah, I've been traveling. I've been doing this a lot, man. I've been doing this a lot. I have a TV show on Amazon Prime called Sigue la Risa in Spanish. I'm a bilingual comic, so I just also want to spread the word about cannabis. I think it's the best thing that's ever been invented.
So say that one more time. So for the viewers que están hablando en español, que están mirando este show ahora, si quieren seguirte en Amazon, ¿cuál es el nombre
del canal?
Sí, del canal.
El show se llama Sigue la Risa, Amazon Prime.
So Amazon Prime,
Sigue la Risa.
Can I watch it dubbed in English? Does it have subtitles for our?
It has subtitles on the bottom.
So even if you are a non-Spanish speaker and you have not realized that you live in California, Mexico, you need to log on Amazon Prime, okay? And it's called Sigue la Risa on Amazon.
Follow the laughter. Follow the laughter. That's
Sigue it. Means follow. So have you heard that song? Sigue, sigue, sigue. It means follow, follow, follow. So Sigue la Risa, follow the laughter, Amazon Prime, and you can stream it anytime. Is that right?
Anytime. You can watch it now. Well, not now.
In Spanish, you should definitely check it out. Yeah. Watch the subtitles. Great show. My name is Iggy. My old school friends call me Igor. I've been in the game almost as long as you have. I've been performing and touring since I was, since like in my early 20s. And as of late, I have launched a new, it's a comedy studio called Misfit Toys. And we specialize in developing unique comedic voices, specifically women and minorities getting their voices heard. And I'm coaching all of these amazing comedians and basically getting them a step up and turning them into superstars. So if you're interested, you can send me a link. We can have an audition because it is an elite comic studio. It's by audition only and referral only, but it's called Misfit Toys. And we have our first show coming up actually on the 20th of June of our fellow students. So I'm really excited about that. I'm always performing just because I love it and I can't, I can't afford a therapist. So I got to get up on stage and, share my truth. So there you go. I had to stop smoking for a second because the voices, and some people get it too. It's like the paranoia. So like,
you get paranoid with
I do now. When I was younger, I had nothing to worry about. But now I'm the breadwinner. I support my mom. I support my family. I take care of everybody. And so there's a lot more on my shoulders. And so when I smoke, I'm like, oh, what about this? What about that? I start pacing around the room, like chasing my metaphorical tail. Like it's hard. It's hard.
Armando. What's up, Armando?
What's up? He's also an amazing comedian. He does this really kind of kinky thing with his violin.
No, he's an asshole. First of all, he's an asshole. Let's not fucking dress it up. Armando's an asshole that we love so much. I love him like a brother, but he's an asshole. Look what he did to me. And I wanted to talk about Black Lives Matter and all that stuff and systemic racism. But one of the things that he did to me, he was so evil. I don't know if I told the story. This asshole calls me when the riot started. Yeah, Armando, get a house. So Armando calls me and says, hey, shit's getting really bad in LA. I'm on my way to your house in Fontana. Me and the kids and the wife, we got to get out of the city. And I'm trying to get a hold of him. And I'm seeing the riots on TV, and I'm seeing everything that's going on in LA and in Hollywood. And I'm like, I call him, I leave him a message. I tell him, hurry up, get here. Don't worry. We have enough space. We have enough food. You guys can stay here as long as you want. My wife is freaking out. She's starting taking out the furniture from the baby's room. We're going to set him up a bed. We're doing all of this. And then I get a hold of his wife, Armando's wife. And she tells me, starts laughing and says, stop joking around, guys. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to be a part of this. And I mean, what are you talking about? Aren't you guys on your way here? She says, nope, we're fine. Everything's good. My wife is moving furniture. We are freaking out. We're thinking of our other family members that are going to come. How are we going to feed everybody? This is a span of 10 minutes, and I'm freaking out. No contact with Armando, this fucking asshole. Then he calls me laughing. I'm like, you're a dick, bro. So he's an asshole.
So we've been talking about Yerbabuena. I want to hear, so we talked about the first times people got high. What was one of and I mentioned one time when I got high at the water park. What was another time that you got high in a place that was different, strange, special, something scary? Where was the place that you got high and you're like, I think I should not be high right now?
This is when this was coming out, the new forms of cannabis was coming out. And you could have cannabis as a prescription. So people were getting different cookies and edibles. I'm shooting a movie, okay? I'm the last scene that they're shooting of the night. This is it. This is wrap up, martini shot. Richard is done. The whole movie's over. This is our last shot. And I started the celebration a little bit early. Somebody at the Improv, when I was performing, hands me these mint strips. And he tells me, be careful. They're very potent. They have cannabis. So just take one. And I'm about to do a scene. And I thought, oh, they're minty. And they're not, I can handle weed. Well, I didn't know that they got stuck. So I actually had like 6 or 7 of these strips at once.
Oh, man.
You were supposed to peel them. That's why they didn't become that popular. There was these mint strips. But when they got moisture, they would stick. So I ended up having 6 of those. And as I'm running my lines, I'm standing there as a great actor, and I forget I'm next, like 5 times. They're running their lines, and I'm just like, they're like, you're next, Richard. What's up, man? You're next, and I'm freaking out. I had to tell the director, listen, man, can we shoot this tomorrow? He says, no. So we had to wait because I was so high. Then now my face started transforming. My eyes were droopy. I looked like this. He's like, what the fuck just happened? We had you okay a minute ago, and there's no smoke, so nobody knew I was high. So everybody was going, what's going on with Richard? Why is he all of a sudden? And so we waited. They got me a cup of coffee. We had to wait till it comes down. But what an embarrassment. I'm all high, and the whole crew of people just waiting for me to stop being high. Like, hurry up. We want to get the fuck out of here. That's my worst experience ever.
Oh man. I remember, in college I would get high all the time. Like that was my like go-to study drug. So like I loved the all-nighter. And so I'd go to the library and I'd start reading and write, and then I'd go outside, get high in the bushes, go back in, and like I'm one of those productive high people because I'm naturally hyper. So it just brings me down to like a normal level. So for me, it's like amazing. Like get high, clean, get high, study, write. Then like for me, it just helps me. Bless you across the board. Now eating it actually is different. Most people don't know. Do you know the difference? The main differences between? Okay,
I do.
Those that don't know, when you smoke, okay, it takes between 5 to 10 minutes to hit you, and it lasts between an hour to 3 hours. When you eat it, because it goes through your liver and your bloodstream, it hits you in 30 to 45 minutes, and it can last upwards of 6 to 10 hours, depending on what you do. It is a completely different high. And so you might not know what's going, and an hour later, you're just like.
That's exactly what happened to me, man. And this is the thing. It affects you differently. See, when you smoke it, your body processes it, and your high is different than when you eat it. When you eat it, it's a more hallucinogenic check. I forgot what it's. I'm high already, man.
He's like, I'm all.
Oh my God. Hey, listen. You okay? Everything okay in Mexico? Is everybody freaking out over there with the riots and everything?
There's no riots in Mexico.
Nobody. There's no
in all honesty, where I'm at, so I'm 2 hours south of the border. I'm about an hour and a half south of Tijuana, and a town called Ensenada. They've closed the port, so there's no tourists. Ensenada is one of the #1 port cities. So if you're going to Hawaii, you're either going to stop at Ensenada and then go to Hawaii or on the way back. If you're going to anywhere on the West Coast, Cabo San Lucas, Vallarta, any of the West Coast, Mexican,
La Paz, all that stuff.
Exactly, you're going to stop in Ensenada. So we have on average 10 cruise ships a week coming through, and it's a huge industry. But now we're shut down. Also, the mayor of Ensenada has created a blockade around the city because there's only a few roads that come in, and unless you can show papers that you live here, you're not allowed into the city, period. And when my boyfriend left to go back to New York, that was our Black population. There are no more Black people in Ensenada. When he left back to America, that was it.
I wonder if the people in Ensenada were like, man, where's your boyfriend? We were ready to riot. We need that representation. What
he did tell me, which I love, see, being in a multiracial relationship, I see the double standard all the time. And one thing that he told me that he loved about going to Mexico is people treated him differently. When he came to Ensenada, people weren't scared of him.
No, he has dollars. He has dollars. Nobody's scared of you.
Because the only Black people that they know down here are the rich Black folk that get off the cruise ships.
That's what I'm saying. He has dollars.
And so when Mexicans see Black people, they automatically think dollars.
Tourists, dollars. Yes, these is good guys. I want to talk to them.
He's like, yo, bro, I love going down to Mexico. They treat me like I'm like, Jay-Z or whatever. Like they come out like, hey, with the smile and the thing, and
they probably do think it's Jay-Z. Can you imagine this Mexican kid going, Mama, today I met Jay-Z. He told me his name is Jay-Z. What color was he? Black. Oh, you met Jay-Z?
And he's blinged out. Like he's a successful guy. So he's got the Rolex. He's got the diamonds. He's, he's on point. And this thing we actually talked about yesterday, he doesn't want to be blinged out. He doesn't want to spend the money on a Rolex. He doesn't want to be all Louis Vuitton Gucci'd out. But if he doesn't get treated with respect. The only time when we go through the airport that he gets treated with respect is if he's got a Louis Vuitton bag. The only time if we go to a restaurant, do they not stick us in a table out behind by the kitchen, is if he flashes his Rolex. He has to put on his Rolex when we go grocery shopping so that people don't follow us around the store thinking he's going to steal shit. Like for him, it is a piece of armor. It is not, when you see Black folk out with gold chains or diamonds or this or flexing with all that, it's because they need to wear it as protection so that they don't get followed, so that they get treated equally.
See, I would follow that guy because that's the only way he could have got a Rolex if he stole it. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I don't even know your name. I'm joking. But that's kind of hick white racism you would hear in America. Nope, you followed him because they stole it. I mean, systemic racism is something that, I don't know, does it exist in the UK?
No. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. It's different races.
It's Indians, right? Or what is it in the UK? Yeah. Middle Eastern?
It's
Indian?
Much more North African, and it's much more South Asian, so Indian, Pakistani. It's not.
Okay.
So when he loves, we love traveling to London because he's like, it's the only city where I don't get treated like a black person. I get treated like a regular person. People don't look at me. They don't do a double take. They don't clutch their purse. So when we travel, we can't go to Australia. We can't, because the racism in Australia is so bad that it is awful, especially if you are black. And so why are we going to spend thousands of dollars to go to a place where we don't feel comfortable?
Mm-hmm. I wonder if the people in the UK are thinking these Americans are idiots. And I'm going, yeah, we are, but we don't know what the fuck you guys do over there. So you guys got to tell us. So if you know what kind of racism is going on in the UK, let us know in the comments. Send us,
Yes. If you are watching, let us know what your experience with racism is, whether it's positive, whether it was negative, where it was. I would love to hear from you. Please. Where have you felt racism? Where have you felt it? Where have you felt?
I felt it in my own race, not actually in somebody else. I think Americans, for the most part, don't want to be racist. They can be prejudiced, and they try not to be prejudiced, but sometimes they do come off as prejudice. But for me, it's been my own culture. They've told me, you're too Latino. You're too Mexican.
What is that supposed to mean? You're too Latino.
I'm not palatable to the American market, meaning they will look at me and say, we don't understand. I said, what do you mean you don't understand? I'm telling my story in English. And they would go, yeah, you're too Mexican. That was the excuse I got at a TV show that was called CTV. C, like yes in Spanish. Mm-hmm. That was the network. It was a bilingual network. And she told me, your comedy is too Latino. I said, you're a bilingual Spanish-English television show. That is what you promote your platform on, being bilingual. And you're saying that I'm too Mexican? And she's like, yep. I said, all right. And that's what I knew. It was racism or prejudice against me. But it's your own people sometimes that shit on you. But that was really the only time. I mean, I always felt left out because this is my theory. We were talking about being Americans. Remember that a few podcasts ago about being American? How do you identify yourself as an American? And if America treats you like shit, you still want to carry that name? You know what I mean? You want to be known as an American if America treats you like shit? So a lot of people tend to want to gravitate to what they relate to. They go, I don't want to be called an American if America's going to treat me like shit. But America hasn't. To me, America's been a great country, has been the stepmother I didn't have at home. Basically, Mexico told me, I can't feed you, I can't promise you a future, and I cannot promise your kids a future. So America forcefully opened their arms and accepted me, and now I contribute to this country. You understand? But now she's become my stepmother, and I love her as much as my real mom. Those are my roots, but I don't turn my back on my stepmom now. But I know that there's two worlds.
See, I personally believe if you are in America, if you are working, if you're paying taxes also means if you buy anything and you pay sales tax, that's paying taxes. Then you're an American. You're an American. And we were built on immigrants. Honestly, unless you have feathers in your hair and you live in a teepee and have a casino in your backyard, you don't have the right to say shit about shit. Period.
Okay. I would love to explain systemic racism to people, or at least the way I interpret it, and what I saw it was. To the people in the UK, I'm really curious to see if they do this to different ethnicities in their country. For example, my understanding is this: slavery ends, but the controlling powers at that time, primarily white people, decide, okay, let's target these areas where African Americans live. Okay, let's not give them home loans. Let's not give them loans. Let's not invest too much in their school system. Let's not give them social programs. Let's not do things like that. And let's see what happens. So I understood that from the get-go, they said, race, let's go. But they put us 4 miles back, 5 miles. Anybody with the colored skin gets to start 2 miles behind us before we hit the goal shot. So that's how I see systemic racism. A way racism is to keeping a class down by not providing them services, even though they're paying just as much taxes as the white person.
Well, they pay no, they pay more.
Oh, they pay more.
They pay way more. Did you know? Okay. Did you know that people who make $300,000 and up pay on average half, if not more, less than people who are employees? So if you make more than $1 million, anywhere from $500,000 and above, you on average pay 10% to 5%.
Yeah.
And so what's crazy to me is that if you work at McDonald's, or if you are a retail clerk, or if you work on any salaried position, you actually pay 3 to 4 times as much in taxes than your wealthy counterparts. And that to me blows my...
It's so funny. I asked my tax guy, hey, is the IRS really looking at me? Like, am I really their big concern? He says, yes, you're middle class. Of course they're looking at you. You're the one paying for this. You're the only ones they concentrate on. They know they're not going to get, blood from a stone. And they know that these rich people are way too smart for us to even invest in lawyers. We know you, middle class, that you just can't get involved with the IRS. You're going to lose this. You don't have the equity to fucking push through this fight. Rich people do. So they go, you are the target. You are exactly who they're going to audit. And then you're the one that's going to have to refinance your home to pay your fucking taxes. Basically, if you don't pay your taxes. I was like, oh, fuck. I thought I was safe. I thought I was the guy that nobody was looking at and says, nope, you're the one that's paying for all this shit.
So let's get back on so speaking of getting high, what are different ways that you've gotten high? So you smoke flower. You now are smoking, what is that you're smoking?
Oil. What is this? Banana OG? Sure, Banana OG. But different ways I've gotten high. I've drank, it's funny, like just to get drunk, we had no liquor. But my dad took us. We're like young. We're like 16, 17 years old. It's in a ranch, and they had tequila, and we just trying to get fucking hammered. Japaretes or jiparetes, what are they called, Teddy? The milk with the chocolate milk and they literally grab the cup and they milk the cow into your mug, your like pottery mug. And they spray the milk in there with the chocolate, powdered chocolate. They squirt milk, and then they put tequila in it. So literally from the cow, they squeeze it. They put the mixture and they give it to you. So we got hammered off of cow's milk, fresh cow milk and chocolate milk. And we ended up throwing all over the place, dude, because we're trying to get hammered. So we decided this is going to be our cocktail for the day. So we keep drinking these chocolate milks with tequila. So, oh my God, that is the most disgusting thing I ever did. No. It wasn't getting high, but it was the most disgusting thing I've ever had to do to get high. Is drink fucking cow's milk with tequila.
That's no. Oh, I just remembered because we were talking about the craziest place you got high. So one of my favorite places. So I went to school at Georgetown in DC, which is a Jesuit Catholic university, and it was during the Clinton era. So it was awesome. What we did is at night, we would go up the fire escape and we would get on top of the steeple, the little roof where the steeple is of the thing, which is actually the Jezrez, where all of the priests live. And we would sit on the roof and get stoned and watch the planes go over, and we would get high on top of the Jesuit residence. And that was we just felt like, we were king of the world. You can see the Washington Monument. You can see, the Capitol. The planes are flying over, and I remember that was one of the first times. That was amazing. That was amazing.
Weirdest way to smoke weed. Oh, because I'll tell you the story. My mom thought that somebody was trying to put witchcraft on us. My mom said, "Hey, they're doing witchcraft," and I said, "What do you mean they're doing witchcraft?" I didn't know what's going on. So, what I had done is I had grabbed an apple. I got home at 2 a.m. and I wanted to smoke some weed with me and my buddy. We didn't have anything to smoke it with, so I went inside, grabbed an apple, and I made a hole, and I started smoking outside the apple. Tequila with cow piss. No, cow milk, asshole. I sucked the straight tequila shots. Pauline.
I miss you.
No piss.
I miss you,
milk.
man.
So I finished the pot. We were smoking. We started talking, and I forgot the apple in front of on our porch. Okay. My mom doesn't know what this fucking thing is. It looks like an apple. And it looks brown inside, and it's burned on the top. You know what an apple looks like when you've been smoking? It looks really fucked up. So my mom opens the door, and she sees an apple. And she looks at it. She doesn't want to touch it. And she's all freaking out. And she's like, "Nos están haciendo brujería. They're trying to put witchcraft on us. Look what I found." I didn't want to explain to her, "Hey, that's my fucking weed pipe." She thought that les están haciendo brujería, that they were trying to put a spell on her. I was like, "No, mom." She didn't know that was my weed pipe from the night before. I forgot it outside. Because in her mind, who's leaving an apple outside at 6 a.m. in my doorstep? You know what I mean? So it's.
Have you ever gotten busted?
Huh?
Have you ever gotten busted?
Smoking weed. The first time I smoked weed, I got busted, and that's it, man. Other than that, you don't get busted now.
Well, but okay.
They ask you for some. But back in the day, I think that was the only time I really got busted. There was times they chased us off property and shit like that, but it was good. Weirdest shit you've ever smoked weed out of? I've done potatoes. I've done the cap of a pin. I've done.
That's desperate.
That is desperate, bro.
I always do. My favorite is steamrollers, and so in college we would take all the toilet paper and the paper towel. The paper towel, those cardboard things, and we would create like a giant tube that would go out the window, and we would fill it with dryer sheets so it wouldn't stink. And then you would light at the thing, so it'd be like a long bong that go out the window, and it would just go, and it would go out the window. That's how we love to get high. Like that was because you're in the dorm and you're not allowed to get high. And on the last day of school, and it was my sophomore year, and we're all in bed. The cops come banging on my door, and they searched my place, and they found a 1/4 pound of weed, and I got dragged off to jail. The last day of school.
No.
I'm a bitch. I'm not gonna lie. I was crying. I couldn't believe it was the last day of school. I'm like, no, please. Oh my God. Like I was sitting there in jail. I'm like freaking out. I mean, oh my God. I thought my life was over. I'm like, I literally, I just turned 18, which sucked because now I'm fucking legal.
You're an adult.
And so, and they're like, well, your mom has to come bail you out. And no, it was right before I turned 18. I take that back. I was right before I turned 18 because I started college early. And so they're like, only your parents can come take you out because you're a minor. So they call my mom. And he's talking to my mom, and I'm chained to the chair, and I'm rocking back and forth, and I'm crying, just a little bitch, just like, oh, I can kick me out of school. And the officer gets off the phone, and he's like, let him go, guys. There's nothing that we can do that's going to be worse than what that woman is going to do to him.
Wow.
It was like, that woman on the other line, she is on a plane right now to come into Washington, D.C. There's nothing we can do that will be worse than what that woman is going to do to that little boy.
So what do you mean the dorms? You were in high school? What kind of high school did you go to?
No. This was in college.
In college? You were just first year of college?
Yeah, first year. So yeah, so it was first year of college. It was the last day. I was 17. So, and we were moving stuff out and wanted to get high to move out. And the RA called the cops on me. The RA called the cops on me.
Wow.
The RA's the resident assistant.
Did you get kicked out?
So the next year, no. When I came back from the summer, the case suddenly disappeared.
I think because they didn't have record that you got arrested.
If I was black, no, I know. So
you believe in white privilege?
Oh, 120%. If I was black, I would be in jail right now. I've been arrested so many times. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been arrested for peeing in public. I've been arrested for, starting brawls in bars. I've been arrested for weed multiple times. I've been arrested for shoplifting. I've been arrested for showing my butt for beads in New Orleans. I've been arrested a lot. And every single time I get out because I'm white. I get out because I'm white.
Where did you put the beads? Go back. I love it.
I talked about this on the other episode, but yeah, I was showing my butt for beads in New Orleans, and apparently, boom, they arrested me, threw my butt in jail, and I mentioned this yesterday, but seriously, I was the only white guy in prison, and they wanted to teach me a lesson because I was the entitled white guy. And I was like, what do you mean? You can't arrest me. I've always lived with this white privilege. I didn't know it was called white privilege. It was just, what do you mean I can't do what I want? And every single time I've been able to plea it out. I've been able to hire a lawyer. I've been able to okay, I'm going to go sweep the streets on a Saturday or feed the homeless on a Sunday, and everything just disappears. Every single time. And when I was sitting in prison, I remember when I walked in and all those black guys were like, yo, Snow White, you gonna be my bitch tonight. And I'm like, I've never been so turned on and scared at the same time.
I'll give you a visual. His butthole did this.
Yeah, it was like, and when I was sitting there in prison and all these orange outfits sit next to me, and I'm like, I need to make friends because I'm a little pussy nerdy Jew boy. And so I start making friends, and I'm talking to the guys. They were in there for less than what I had done, and they had been there for years. Years. They got caught with a sack of weed. They couldn't afford the lawyer. Years. They got caught with, I'm not going to get into the details, but shoplifting, something here, years.
Wow.
Their only crime was being a little bit darker and not having the money to pay for a lawyer. Flat out. How many times have I been pulled over? Hi, can't walk. But then oh, I live here, I'm white, let me go.
Is there a country where black people can have black privilege?
Sweden.
Really? They look, because
Sweden and Germany, all the North, so Sweden, Denmark, Germany, Holland, Finland, Norway. So because they're so rare, because they don't really have black people there because it's too cold. But when I go there with my black friends, they get treated like royalty. They're like the hot thing because everybody there's white. Everybody there's blonde. And so when I travel to the northern part of Europe, they get treated like royalty.
Well, there you have it. If you are black, listen to us. Go to the northern part of Europe and knock yourself out. Take advantage of that privilege, God damn it. Get advantage of the privilege.
And this is the thing. And especially in this global community. Oh, I got arrested for pissing through the letterbox of my ex.
Haven't we all? Colleen, how big is your penis? Oh, Colin. Like he put it through the slot. You weren't scared it was gonna get stuck or something, man? I never put my penis into physical objects like that, like metal or wood.
Maybe in the UK their letterboxes are bigger. I don't know.
Or smaller. I mean, I gotta say, oh God.
But thing now, what I've realized and what we've been talking about a lot with some of our other guests, if you can't change, if you want something in your life, it's not going to happen in your backyard. So our last guest, she was from South Dakota. She realized that she couldn't fulfill her potential in South Dakota. If you realize that the city that you're in, the neighborhood that you're in, the mindset is too small, they don't appreciate you, grow the balls and move. You want to get treated, find where you, like, when I wasn't getting, like, I would have died if I had to stay in the Soviet Union. Yeah, I literally would have been sent off being a gay guy to a gulag in Siberia. I would never have been able to do comedy. It would have been so much harder for me. Luckily, my parents brought me here. You're not, especially in this global world, you're not confined to your backyard. So if you truly feel oppressed, move to New York, move to LA, move to Europe. Learn that there's so many places you can go to and live and thrive, and it's much easier for you to change your surroundings than it is for you to change the mentality of your neighborhood.
You're absolutely right. Correct. It takes courage. It takes courage to change what you don't like. And so for you to get up and move and your family to leave Russia knowing, and this is what I tell my dad and mom, they would tell me the same thing. It took a lot of courage for us to leave our families, but we understood that it was for your benefit because we understood that we didn't want you to grow up around your cousins. We didn't want you to think that way. And thanks to that, I don't think like my family in Mexico. My eyes have been open, and realistically, man, it's how you raise your children. You understand? The way my mom raised me and the way my dad was raised and her parents raised her, there was no hatred. For us, there was no color. Do you understand? Even though my dad had he was very prejudiced. He didn't like black people at all. But he had his personal reasons, the way he was treated when he first came to this country, the way black people would treat him. But as the years went on, he realized their color of the skin doesn't matter. But he had the education and the knowledge and the know-how to go, okay, this is not right. Taught that to me, and now I teach that to my daughter. So this doesn't exist anymore. But the only way we change is look in your backyard and make those changes in your backyard. If you can self-reflect and say, am I being this person? Am I being racist? Am I being prejudiced? Am I giving these backhanded compliments? Am I being this person? And how can I change that if I don't like it? But I got to start with my little girl. She needs to understand that she needs to see it by action. She needs to see a diverse group of friends with me. And that's something me and my wife have always embraced. I remember when you were massaging her feet and she was pregnant. And I said, I can't wait because it was a huge party. Remember, it was you, Armando's friends, and who was in that room? And that's the night we had that conversation that we were excited because that room looked like the United Nations. Yes. And we all had comedy in common. Some of us were actors, some of us whatever. But that night I said, I couldn't be with better friends. And I want my daughter to grow up knowing that these are all my friends and they come in different colors and sizes. So that's, I think, how we're going to stop racism. When you can show that and teach that to your children.
Is there a way? What was it? It was a big, strong stream. Well, Colin.
For such a small penis. So, Colin, congratulations, buddy. Nice, strong stream for such a small penis. That's why he was so amazed. He's like, wow, look at that baby, go. But you were saying something?
Yeah. So what people don't understand is that in America, the biggest way to build financial wealth is through property. There is one financial vehicle that does not get taxed, okay? And it is called the 2-year 250 rule. If you live in a property for 2 years and the net profit is $250,000 or less, you pay 0 taxes. Not a lot of people know this. It's called the 2-year 250. If you buy a house, you live in it for 2 years, you sell it, or in a condo or whatever, you sell it after living in it for 2 years as your primary residence, you pay no taxes off of the 250 net. That's after expenses. So let's say you put in money for remodeling, etc. That goes against the where else in America can you make $250,000 and pay 0 in taxes? That is the #1 way to get wealth in America. Now, that being said, for us to change that gap, we need to create programs so that African Americans, that other minorities can get special interest rates, can get special loans to get into property. Until that happens, they're not going to be able to get ahead. How many white families are able to give their homes to their children or give to it is the only tax-free vehicle in the United States. And I didn't know this, but I had a mentor and he taught me. And so from the age of, I was in my early 20s and I got as much money as I could together and I borrowed and I got a little teeny shitty apartment in DC. And after 2 years, I sold it, didn't pay any taxes, got another little place. But that entry into home ownership, if we can start helping people get into a home, I think that is one of the first ways that we can start helping people get out of poverty, because it's education and then comes wealth. But you can't get a great education unless you can move to a better neighborhood. To be really rich here in the UK is marry royalty. There's not a lot of royals out there though. Yeah. That's that I don't know how you can, I lived in the UK. I lived in London. It is crazy expensive. It's on a level that it's insanely expensive.
Wait, can it be any type of royalty or does it have to be specific royalty? Because I'm pretty sure there are royals that are broke.
Hi guys. What time is it? We got about 15 minutes on the show, so I'll be down in a second. Love you, Mom. We can be 15 minutes, okay? My mommy's downstairs. I live with my mom. I'm quarantined with Mama Nina. So I'm a 40-year-old living with his mom.
And talking about wealth, shut the hell up. No, just kidding.
He was like, it wouldn't be, if it wasn't for me, you would be still poor. You would be.
In Russia. I like it with it. In Mexico. Motherfucker, you haven't been there in 40 years. You're still claiming Mexico. I'm like, it's changed. Oh my God.
I'm more Mexican than most Mexicans.
Huh?
I'm more Mexican than most Mexicans.
Yes. Actually, yes.
This is how Mexican I am. I don't even know if you know what this is. Can you see this?
Rotoplas.
Do you know what this is?
I know it's a pimp, Rotoplas. I don't even know, and I'm Mexican.
Okay. So here in Mexico, most people don't have regular running water or drinking water. They have a tank on top of their house.
That's right.
And a truck comes by and fills up your tank.
Yes.
And it's usually that brand.
That fills up your tank with water.
Yes. My Rotoplas guy gave me a free pen when I got my little tank that sits on my roof that gives us the drinking water and gives us all the water, because there's no running water from the city that comes to the house.
Yeah. Are you self-sufficient there? Do you have solar panels, all that stuff?
Solar. We have our own water, our own gas, our own septic, our own everything. So when I built this place 15 years ago, I always joke that I'm like, oh, this would be the perfect place to go when the end of the world happens. Didn't think it was going to happen.
Well, that's where I'm going.
So she married the queen of corgis.
See, I'm telling you, not all royalty is good. There you go. Call it nose. See,
but see, I think that this is going to be interesting when all of this ends, because here, weed is illegal, but a lot of people grow their own, and becoming self-sufficient, where you're not dependent on the city for
the system. Yeah.
The only thing is Wi-Fi. That has become essential, like water. If you don't have Wi-Fi, how do you get to work? How do you get to, that becomes, that's the hard one. That's the hard one.
How's the Wi-Fi? I mean, you've been great so far, but
we have a satellite. But if there's a storm and the satellite on the roof starts to shake, then it'll cut out. So when it gets really windy and the satellite starts to move a little bit, then it'll cut out. But that's the thank God for Netflix, because imagine if this happened 3 years ago and there was no there was no Netflix, there was no streaming, there was no Zoom, what would happen? America would learn how to read.
No, they buy bootlegged movies. they would find a way to get free cable. They would find a way to get their content, bro. I'm telling you. They would sell bootlegged movies in every corner. Everyone said, fuck reading. That was back in the day. Trust me, people didn't want to read back then. They were forced to read. Forced to read. They were forced to read. Nah, I think they would just find another form of entertainment or drink more. That's it. Just drink more. Fuck it. Even the news is good when you're drunk. You get to talk shit. Ah!
What was your favorite movie to watch high?
Favorite movie to watch high of all time?
Or just in general, maybe lately. What was some of the favorite movies that you watched high?
You know what I like watching high? There's a show, and I just watched it lately. It's called Upload on Prime, Amazon Prime. Watch that show. It's basically our future. It is so interesting, and I'm high, and I'm thinking, wait, is that real life? Or is that now? Wait, is that the future? I mean, but I'm so high, but I'm so interested in everything that's going on. I had a blast. I was high as hell watching Upload. I was like, basically what they do is they take your mind and your soul, I guess, or your being or your consciousness, and they download it into a hard drive. And your loved ones then can pay for them to create a world or add you to a world that they've created digitally, where your soul or you are still alive, and you come back to it and go, whoa, I can see my hands. Yes, we digitally remade you. You're now an avatar.
Sounds like some Black Mirror shit.
Yes. Okay, so now you become an avatar in a hard drive that your wife, if she wants to have sex with you, she'll pull you out of her drawer, put you into a computer, upload you, and now she can fucking put on a suit and fuck you. And you feel all the sensations as an avatar, but you're dead.
I need to wait. What is this called? I need to write this.
Upload. Watch it high. We should do a segment every show.
High list upload. That is sounds like a good.
This is a crucial thing for weed smokers out there. They need to know what to watch when they're high. And Upload on Amazon Prime. You got to watch it because it'll trip you the fuck out when you're high, because you're going, it makes sense.
Okay.
And you don't stop yourself from saying, "Oh, that can't happen." No, everything makes sense. You're like, "Oh my God, we're gonna die. We're gonna fucking die today." So, any shows that you could say,
the
"Hey,
number
man,
one ever," and this is a classic, was South Park's Bigger, Longer, Uncut.
I saw that one.
When I saw that in the theater, that just shows you how old I am. And I'm from Colorado, and all that shit is true. Like, I went and I celebrated my birthday in Casa Bonita. Like,
really?
Like, it's all real. Like, it's all based on real people from Evergreen, from all that. Like, it is real. But when I saw that movie, I literally pissed my pants. And speaking of Black Lives Matter, I was in the theater, and there was only one black man sitting next to me, right? And I don't know if you remember, but they were doing that war. Bless you. Bless you.
Sorry, is this?
And they were talking about Operation Darky.
What does it say? You're
You are
Both
both
are.
I love. Oh, thank you, Allison from Scotland. What's up, girl? So
And then
it was Operation Darky, where they strapped all the black people to the tanks.
yes,
And then they all got off and escaped, and then they all started blowing up the white people. And the black guy go, yeah. Interactive experience. See, I miss the African American black experience. Yes, Beavis and Butthead. Yes, for sure, definitely.
What about that movie, the puppet movie with America or
You're like America? Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so good.
I forget that was such a
so like those type of that bigger, longer, uncut broke down so many bit like that to me was epic on a level that that was so much respect for that movie.
You know what's a classic too for the older folks? Blazing Saddles. Because you're high and they say the N-word like a million times and they're talking to each other and you're looking around the whole time because you're so paranoid because you're high. When they say the N-word, you'll look. And they'll say the N-word again. You look, you're like, oh shit, I'm so paranoid of the N-word that you're watching Blazing Saddles and you go, and I've caught myself doing it. I've caught friends doing it. Because you're watching the movie and you're like, did anybody hear that? But you're high.
We're about to go out. Do you have one story that you want to, one joke, one story that you want to share with our audience of one of your fated tales of triumph or tragedy?
One. What can I say? What can I say?
Well, you think of that.
Go, you go. I'll think of mine.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So my father had a stroke, and I flew to Denver with my family. My mom picks us up at the airport. My brother, my sister, and what does she bring? She brings a dozen pot cookies because this is when she owned the pot shop. We eat ourselves some pot cookies, and then we go to this restaurant. We get dinner before we go to the hospital because he's already stabilized, but we just need to go check on him. And we were high. Mom got high. We all got high. We get in the car, and Mom's just waiting at the stop sign. I'm like, Mom, you can go. Don't rush me. It's going to turn green. I'm like, Mom, it's a stop sign. I heard you. It's going to turn green. Finally, I was like, Mom, get out the car. You are not capable to be high and driving at the same time. She gets out. We get in the thing. When we get into the hospital, my father is there with his mistress. And there's another mistress who's like rubbing his feet, and the mistress is feeding him soup. And we're sitting there, and my mom is looking at all these ladies that have been fucking her husband. And I look at her, and she looks at them, and they're like, I think that we should leave. And she's like, no, I think I should punch you in the fucking neck. And I'm like, I can't. I just leave. I just run and just leave. And I just leave the room. And my mom just started throwing, like, I couldn't believe, like, she just beat these bitches. She knocked them out. Just beat the fuck out of these ladies in the hospital room. Like, just beat. She went all mafia on them, right? Oh my God. And my dad, he's a circus performer. Okay, he was a tightrope walker in the circus. And so when we grew up, he was always like, bagels, cream cheese. Everything was. But then once he had a stroke, half of his body couldn't move. But he still thought he was a clown. And he still thought he was a performer. And he couldn't talk. And he'd be like, Eagle! And he still tried to do his juggling and his tricks without the arm, and he was just trying. He looked like Trump at a rally. It was that bad. He still, despite his aneurysm and the stroke and the thing, he in his mind was able to do everything, and he kept trying. This hand was able to throw the ball, but this hand couldn't catch it. It was just, oh my gosh! But that was when my family, first time ever, we all got high together. That was our one time.
one of the things that I regret, he doesn't know, my buddy Armando. I haven't spoke to him in like 20 years, but I'm gonna confess it now because I think it's time.
Okay.
Something happens to me, he needs to know. It was Christmas 1996. I was hammered. It was Christmas night. It was on the 24th, 1996. I had just graduated high school, and my buddy Armando had came over and spent Christmas with us. Well, my aunt got sick that night, and my mom says, "Hey, I need you to drive me to the hospital." And I'm like, "Yeah, I could take you. It's 2 a.m. I am wasted. I am super wasted. So my mom doesn't realize or goes, "This is about the soberest guy I'm going to find here. So he can take me." So I asked Armando, my buddy, "Can I borrow your car?" He had a small Chevy station wagon. Sure. On the way to getting my mom to the hospital, not a problem. Because she told me, make a left, get off of here, to a right, to a left. Okay. She says, "Your aunt forgot her medication. We need to get the names of the medication she's taking, and we need her ID. She forgot it. Can you go back home?" Now, keep in mind, the hospital is 20 minutes away. It took me an hour and a half to get back home. I had to pump gas twice that night. I am speeding at 120 when I tell you this little fucking Chevy truck, because I was lost and I was freaking out. I was heading towards San Diego, but I lived in LA. I was just in the highway, blithering drunk, and I was going 120. And I remember that the engine would rev me back to 80. And I was so hammered that I didn't think of anything. Just like, but I was just lost. So basically, I ran around and I fucking speeded all night long, full force, pedal to the metal, just didn't care. The next morning, my buddy Armando turns on his Chevy truck, the Chevy station wagon, and it starts going clack, 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 clack. He said, "What's going on?" He opened the engine. There was no oil. I had to put so much pressure in the engine. I popped the oil cap, and basically all the oil went in the engine. And till this day, I've never confessed to him, but I was so drunk. That day, I could have easily have died being that stupid, going that fast in the freeway, because nobody's on the road at that time. It's Christmas Eve. Everybody's home waiting for Santa, and here I am, 120. So the engine popped. I know I did it. I never admitted it to him. I said, "I don't know what happened, but I fucked up this engine, bro." I feel that was the only time that I felt guilty that I shouldn't have drove and I hurt somebody else, even though there was no accident. I hurt him. I shouldn't have fucked up his car. Oh, guys, why you make me talk about sad shit? See,
okay. So on a happier note, I want to just give another shout out to Allison and to Colin for always, supporting us. You guys are amazing. Armando, Anto, thank you. We're going to be here next week, same time, same channel. Also, check us out on The Americans, which is on Thursdays, 10 o'clock UK time, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard.
So, I have a surprise for everybody. I'm revealing my new weed shack. Like my wife allowed me to build a shack dedicated to this show where we're going to put everything weed there. So and we're going to smoke real bowls. We're going to smoke real flower. And we're going to add lights. It's going to be a different experience next time we see each other.
I can't wait. So do you have anything coming up this week as far as shows, podcasts, special guests? What's going on?
On the 19th of June, my first show with a very famous singer from Elefante. We're doing sort of like an unplug with comedy and music, and he plays all the hits from the 90s of rock en español. Okay. And I'll be doing the comedy in Spanish. Even though this is in Spanish, it'll be my first time going out and performing in front of 50 people. Literally, they told us, "Okay, you're performing for 50 people. Those people will exit. We will clean the place up. Another 50 will come in. You will do 2 shows a night."
I love it. So give it that one.
I don't know the details, but you can follow me at Richard Comedy, and I'm going to post up the advertising there when it's going to happen.
And then if you guys please follow me at Iggy LoveSky on Insta, at Iggy LoveSky Comedy on Facebook. I'm doing an amazing show this Saturday at 7 o'clock, and then I'm doing a couple roasts later this week, and then my first ever Misfit Toys Cabaret show is coming up on the 20th. That's going to be an invite-only special show. Super excited about that. But this weekend, 7 p.m. on the Glass Corner Comedy Club station. And I think that's about it. So please, guys, stay safe, stay high. George Floyd and Black Lives Matter. It's going to change. Yeah, all of you, I have your, I'm supporting everybody out there who couldn't watch because you're out there marching. We're with you. Have a great weekend. I love everybody. Ciao.
Bye, guys.
Ciao.